Today and moving forward, we are going to go on an alternate path, which is different from the path I initially conceptualized for these videos. But it's good. Corrective feedback is good, and it's time we take the road not taken. Today I want to tell you about 5 ridiculous and dangerous things that narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths want you to support. Now, it's hard for me to imagine any mature, full-grown adult wholeheartedly supporting even one of these things. Number 1, abuse by proxy. Oh yeah, it's time to drink the Kool-Aid of this Heaven's Gate-like cult. The fly in the punch bowl of abuse by proxy is the fact that healthy, normal people are direct and open when they're upset. Abuse by proxy schemers, not so much. But what is abuse by proxy? It's getting a group of people to hurt, pressure, control, punish, or attack someone for them.
I'm not fighting a person anymore, Jerry. I'm fighting a whole distribution network.
Insidious things about abuse by proxy. It requires premeditation, meaning you're not being open and honest when you're using it, are you? It requires hiding behind others to remove accountability, chronic dishonesty, and extreme manipulation. It exploits other people as tools or weapons. The willingness to use others to harm someone is truly malevolent. It's typically a way of escalating a fight, when the focus for someone is about connection, not control. A power move like this destroys that connection. Whoa, what's going on with abuse by proxy? Don't be like that, abuse by proxy. I'm sure there's someone dim-witted enough to drink your Kool-Aid. But what? Triangulation. Triangulation is bringing a third person into a conflict to establish a common enemy for control and manipulation purposes.
How fast people join a conflict they don't fully understand, Jerry. Free snacks at a baseball game, nobody shows up.
It is baseball.
Random drama, Jerry. Standing room only.
Here's diagnosed sociopath and more recently diagnosed psychopath Kanika Batra on triangulation.
I'm going to tell you exactly what myself and other sociopaths do to manipulate you. The mask is off. The first and most useful tactic is triangulation. This is second nature to us, but for neurotypicals, you probably don't do it very often.
Well, I hope you caught that. Kanika says this is like second nature to us, but for neurotypicals, you probably don't do it very often. To achieve abuse by proxy, a person has to triangulate over and over again. So when they pull it off, just understand they demonstrated in full view of everyone that triangulation is second nature to them, meaning they are narcissists, sociopaths, or psychopaths. With this type of person, not only does abuse by proxy demonstrate their tendency towards triangulation, but even if you look back at their history, triangulation will be there over and over again. They typically want others in the middle of their messes, their conflicts, both in the present and the past. Please jump into this fight and fight this other person, they say. And you're like, who are you? Who is that other person? Presume them guilty, they scream. In fact, don't just presume them guilty, they say. Don't even tell them what we presume them guilty of. Scammerific triangulation at its finest. The second ridiculous and dangerous thing that narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths want you to support are their claims of victimhood after they've advised supporters to use passive aggression. Well, what is passive aggression? Passive aggression is undercover aggression. If someone not only uses passive aggression, but is advising others to do the same, they are probably the aggressors. You know, most people are ashamed of using passive aggression or other dishonest tactics. Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths want to brag about it. And they want to hand you a moist towelette. Go ahead and towel me off. Tell me how brilliant I am for having pathological behavior problems. You are a Malcolm X. The third ridiculous and dangerous thing that narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths want you to support is the fake profile it created for someone you already know. Playfully competitive with an emphasis on playfully? Well, I want to say he or she is a person with a hyper-competitiveness from hell, known for your politeness ever since the 3rd or 4th grade. Oh, yeah? Well, I want to raise my hand and say that he or she is super rude. Hyper peaceful to the point where it would take you more than 2 decades to actually respond to an ever-increasing and malevolent smear campaign, and where your responses to someone's provocation typically demonstrate emotional regulation in the face of adversity. Oh, yeah? I want to raise my hand and say he or she is not hyper peaceful. They're hyper chaotic. A lifetime spent being anti-racist. Well, I want to raise my hand and say that he or she is a racist. When you're hearing from someone who engages in chronic dishonesty, it's important to check your own memory bank and ask yourself what the person they're talking about was actually like. Not during times that were exceptions either. If a person has a 90% client satisfaction rating, that means that 10% of the time people weren't satisfied. And narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths are the experts at reaching out to the 10% to portray it as if the 10% is 90%. The fourth ridiculous and dangerous thing that narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths want you to support is the ever-evolving fake profile they create for themselves. I compare narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths to a young boy, let's call him Little Billy, who is told to go outside and play while mom goes shopping for groceries. Mom says, "Don't come back to the house while I'm away. Don't play on that PlayStation. You've already spent 3 hours doing that." When mom comes back from shopping, Little Billy is playing outside the house just like mom asked. But mom calls Little Billy in and tells him he's grounded. She found Little Billy's footprints. Muddy footprints leading from the door to the chair in front of the PlayStation. "You can't prove it was me," Little Billy screams. "I was outside the whole time." "Well," mom says, "whose footprints are these and why do they match your shoe size?" In a previous video, I created what I consider to be a modern proverb. Advice reveals the advisor. And it's designed to aid you in your critical thinking, to show you those footprints. We cannot gloss over the past. What did they advise? What did they brag about? When narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths go right into an oblivious person chameleon act, you can shred it by using this proverb. "I don't lack empathy. Watch, I'm being so empathetic right now," they say. "I don't lack remorse. I'll remorse all over you right now." Remember the past, and remember that their own advice revealed the character of these advisors. The fifth and final ridiculous and dangerous thing that narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths want you to support is the use of personality disordered witnesses. Now, I'll admit, I may be reading the tea leaves a little bit on this one, but Dr. Vaknin said this.
So, as I said, the smear campaign is initiated and instigated 100% of the time by mentally disturbed people.
Dr. Vaknin also discussed splitting and black and white thinking, which is common for people who have borderline personality disorder. Here's author, educator, and licensed psychotherapist Ross Rosenberg on borderline personality disorder.
Borderline personality disorder. These individuals are very reactive. They are reactive to anything that makes them feel judged, makes them feel abandoned, or anything creates a feeling that they are not safe because someone is going to think or believe they're doing something wrong or they are a bad person. They respond to these real or imagined episodes of abandonment or judgment by exploding and hurting the person they perceive to be the enemy. The cycle is rage, I want hurt, I'm going to punish you, you're never going to do that, to like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I've hurt the person I love the most. And they feel guilt, they feel empathy, and they try to make up for what they did, and it's the big cycle.
We are not personality disordered like Dr. Vaknin says. We just agree with and use the opinions of the personality disordered. We don't split or use black and white thinking like Dr. Vaknin says. We just agree with and use the opinions of people who split and use black and white thinking. In a lot of Christian circles, I hear a lot of nonsense talk about the Antichrist, fantasies about what it would be like to engage in a battle against literal evil on earth. My point is, how are you going to be able to engage in that battle when you can't even identify the things that are Antichrist? Abuse by proxy. That's Antichrist. Supporting someone's claims of victimhood after they've advised their supporters to use passive aggression is Antichrist. Supporting someone who creates fake profiles, that's Antichrist. The use of personality disordered witnesses, that's Antichrist. Antichrist, Antichrist, Antichrist. Matthew 24:4 says, "Take heed that no man deceives you." 2 Corinthians 6:17 says, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you." Yes, come out from under the spell of chronic dishonesty and extreme manipulativeness. As Christians, it's important to identify and escape the scammers. It's our ethical responsibility. Come out from under the cults that narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths create. They are Antichrist. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Much love and God bless.